What's up guys, it's Jake aka Tag coming at you with a new video. This time we're going to be covering my 3.3 graveyard deck. It's a really fast cycling deck and it has a few ways to distinctly differentiate itself from other graveyard decks. Not many graveyard decks that you guys are seeing right now have a fast cycle. A lot of them typically are really fat with Inferno Tower and Bowler and just a whole bunch of crazy different things. It's not really a typical graveyard deck if you see skeletons in it. I made this deck quite a while back, a few weeks back, and it's been seeing a lot of competitive use recently. And I just figured that this YouTube video, or this video, would help you guys understand it if you haven't already gotten the full opportunity to understand it already. So what it has is, it has archers as its graveyard counter. Archers are a lot better than minions. I like archers because you're able to place them around your tower to counter the graveyard. Minions you always have to place in the same predictable spot, and if you keep doing that predictable spot, it's always going to get predicted with a poison or arrows. And archers, you're able to just change it up, so they actually have to wait to see where you're dropping your archers to successfully throw you off with a poison. Electro Wizard is another counter for that Goblin Barrel, in conjunction with skeletons, if you really need to keep that log against a zap bait deck. Furnace is also a really good poison bait. I think it's extremely helpful in a lot of circumstances. You don't really want your Electro Wizard, your archers, or whatever to just get fireballed or poisoned. It's pretty nice to keep that. The Furnace also is another card that you're able to continuously cycle. So the issue with that I always have with a lot of decks that are running an Inferno Tower, I don't really like having a starting hand of Graveyard, Poison, Log, and Inferno Tower. It's incredibly hard to cycle, and if you have that mid-match, you don't really want to be throwing away like 2 Elixir just to get that chip damage off on the tower. It's kind of iffy for me. So I made this deck with that in mind, and I really like the Furnace. Skeletons are just there to help you cycle to your graveyard, and it's a really safe play at the start. Just cycle in the skeleton, see what your opponent does. I think it's an all-around play. Knight is the tank for the graveyard. You always want to be dropping that. Either the Electro Wizard or the Knight is always going to be Electro Wizard defending and then converting the defense onto offense. In conjunction with graveyard, has a great synergy with the graveyard. Unlike a Musketeer, it will actually stun the tower, and it will allow extra skeleton hits. So that's why I really like Electro Wizard in this deck instead of Muskie. Also, Electro Wizard does really well against balloon decks. It just makes sure that the balloon most of the time will not get to the tower at all. So this deck has a lot of really good matchups, and I'll be showing you guys some of the harder matchups. I know a lot of people have told me that Golem's extremely difficult, and I'll be showing you guys how to play against Golem in I think the first replay right now. So let's go hop into the games. I'll tell you guys my thinking in each game as we encounter each different situation, and hopefully we can learn some stuff. All right. So in this game, we're going to be playing against Golem, and this deck that I'm running, there's 2 different things that I really want to be doing or dropping. Either Furnace or Skeletons. In this case, I opted for Furnace. Furnace is a really good opening play because you're not being too offensive. You never really want to just drop your Knight and Graveyard at the start of the match. That's always way too offensive for my liking. You don't really know if your opponent has minions. You're just going to lose. You're honestly just going to lose. But in this situation, since he did pump up at the start, you can actually go and punish him. He pumps up behind the tower, you go for a Graveyard plus Knight combo, and then you can justify poisoning it as well. But typically, if there's no pump there and you just poison the tower and the minions, it's never really a good trade. It's never optimal in my opinion. So right now, guys, what I'm doing is I'm cycling my archers in the back. I'm cycling my Furnace too right here. I don't want to be dropping my Knight or my Electro Wizard because you always know with Golem that they're going to be lightning-y. So I feel like a lot of people that are having trouble with this deck against Golem, they continuously drop either their Electro Wizard or their Knight, which are very lightning-prone units. And my Electro Wizard doesn't even get get hit by anything right there, and it's gonna be full health. He's up like he's up 3 elixir, but he actually has to deal with a full health Electro Wizard, so it's a really good situation for me right now. He drops his minions, so right now I know that I can go for a graveyard because his minions are out of cycle. Unless he has archers or something else, it's a really good situation for me. So right now, I would not be surprised if I go for a graveyard with these archers right now. And I go for the graveyard off to the side there because I don't really want a lot of skeletons accumulating around that pump. Because if those skeletons accumulate around that pump, they're probably going to go for the King Tower. If there's too many of them accumulating around that pump after they kill the pump. So right now, as you guys can see, I'm really trying not to drop. I'm trying not to drop the E-Wiz. I'm trying to cycle my Furnace and Archers as fast as possible because I want to traditionally get back to 2 Furnaces. If you get to 2 Furnaces against Golem, I'll be able to pull it really nicely right here. Because you know that they're going to lightning every single time. So right now, there's not much you can do. I stacked up two stacks of Archers, which is typically the play that I want to do because if he wants to lightning Archers, a Furnace, and a Tower, that's not generally a very good trade for them. He typically wants to hit the E-Wiz, the Furnace, and the Tower, or the Knight. If you guys are stuck in a situation that you have to drop the Knight, definitely drop the Knight, but at all costs, never drop that E-Wiz in a spot that it can be lightning, guys. Never do it. Right now, I believe I go for the graveyard because I know that he doesn't have minions in cycle, and I should go for poison, and I probably will just secure the game right here. Yeah, I feel like I just take game. So, when you're playing against Golem, just don't really let them pump up, punish it with graveyard, and make sure you're cycling the correct cards on defense, and you should be able to take the victory. Never drop that E-Wiz and you're golden, guys. Alright, so I believe the next game is a Graveyard Mirror. A lot of people told me that they were having trouble with Bowler Graveyard in this matchup, and I'll show you guys how to play that. He even has Tombstone for my Furnace too, so I recognize that it might be an issue for some people. I'm going to hop into that before the 10th game. Alright. So right now, guys, I'll probably cycle E-Wiz in the back, because I have 3 spells, or I could actually opt to wait. I don't remember what I end up doing. So he does cycle before 10, so I'm not going to wait and leak Elixir. Not a bad play. I'll probably drop Skelly somewhere in the back. Yeah, I do. I'm trying to cycle in my Furnace. I see his Bowlers on the right side, so I'm going to drop my Furnace on the left side, get those Fire Spirits on the left tower for some nice chip. I see that he has Fireball with a Bowler. That's probably indicative of either like Fireball Giant Graveyard or Graveyard Control with Bowler. I'm leaking Elixir because I just wanted to get to that Knight. I could have logged his tower and then for chip damage, but I didn't really want to. I didn't want to risk it. This guy could be running something crazy like Bowler, Zap Bait with Fireball, Mirror Fireball, because that is a deck. Right now, I see the graveyard. I recognize it. I don't have my Archers in cycle, so I'm probably going to log to mitigate damage along with my E-Wiz. I don't take too much damage, but it was nice. I dropped my E-Wiz on the right next to the King Tower right there because if he had a spell or anything, it was kind of tempting if he wanted to Fireball, and it kind of messes with people right there. Maybe he'll hit the King Tower with a spell. So I see he cycles minions on the left or on the right side. I go for Graveyard Knight on the right side. I know I'm gonna just do some massive damage to him. Honestly, right now, playing against a Bowler deck, you just want to bait out the minions, try to bait out their graveyard counters, feel around for what their potential counters for their graveyard is. If you get their cards out of cycle, just go for the opposite landing. Try to take them out. I never really want to go. I never really want to just push Graveyard into a lane that they have Bowler. You typically want to go opposite lane as well. So whether I bait out the Bowler with an Electro Wizard or if I bait it out with a Knight, I always typically want to go opposite lane. Don't really want to commit into suiciding units into a Bowler. But right now I'm kind of defending my virginity. I'm doing pretty well. All I gotta do is just defend for 47 seconds. I should be able to actually cycle back to another set of Archers in time. That's what I'm thinking. Log plus Poison definitely kills that. Definitely kills that pretty fast. Definitely kills that E-Wiz really, really fast. I have my Archers back. I think I dropped Skeletons to tank for some hits on the tower. He fireballs my Archers. I log to mitigate damage. and I think the rest is history. I'm pretty sure this game was a relatively clean win from here on out. I'm going to drop my Knight on top of the E-Wiz. Should drop my Knight on top of the E-Wiz. I don't know why I dropped the Furnace first, but, you know, mistakes were made. So we're going to drop the Archers in the back, just clean everything up, and it should just be game. So you guys have some pretty nice counters to Graveyard in this deck. If he somehow had Freeze, you drop the E-Wiz on top of the Freeze, and it just evaporates all the Skeletons. It's really nice that way. Skeletons eat up a lot of the Graveyard hits, and if you guys did not know, they recently did fix the Archer AI bug that was causing the Archers to target the same Skeleton. So Graveyard's a lot easier to deal with right now. So I believe we're going to hop into the next game against a Minor Control. Yes, it is a Minor Control. Let's hop into it. I believe this guy recognizes me, saying wow at the start. Alright, so he drops Minor. Against Minor decks, you can typically go for a Graveyard before double Elixir, but against like Hog Rider decks or decks that they have a lot of counters, you don't really want to be going for aggressive Graveyards. Or if they run Pump, if they run anything that's like demands attention or demands some aggression so they don't just have a huge lead, you can drop your Graveyard, but typically there's very few decks that you can actually drop your Graveyard before double Elixir and get away with it unless they make a huge blunder. And this is one of the decks that you can. You can do it against decks that are like Minor that can't actually just take your tower outright, and Hog Rider decks. Those are the two decks that I would recommend dropping your Graveyard before double Elixir. It's really hard to justify doing it against Zap Bait, because if you mess up once against Zap Bait, the whole tempo of the game is just over. And it's going to be really difficult against Zap Bait to justify going for a really risky like Graveyard Poison right there. Or Graveyard Poison. But because I know he doesn't actually have anything to just immediately counter push me, like I can actually even ignore a full health Minor. It's not going to do as much as a Graveyard would. Alright, so as you guys can see, Furnace is always going to probably be Poison Bait, so I can predictably know that his Poison Radius is going to cover the front of the tower and hit the Furnace. And now I'm free to drop my units every single time outside of that radius of the Poison. If I drop Archers or if I drop Electro Wizard, it's always going to be in the back of my tower, or it's going to be like in the front away from the Poison Rage. Alright, so you can drop Electro Wizard on top of the Minor to make it retarget, which is a really cool trick. I go for the Graveyard again. Graveyard should always typically beat Minor decks. You're just going to out-damage them almost every single time. And it's just because Minor just doesn't do as much as Graveyard, guys. This is why, like, I would be playing Minor if I could, but this deck is so strong in GCs. He's playing this really well as well. He got that Minor on the tower. I dropped the E-Wiz to retarget, and I get my Archers. I should go for another Graveyard right here. He drops the Inferno. That was... I don't know about that Inferno placement, but he just had to stop he had to stop my E-Wiz. E-Wiz is so threatening, guys. He really just couldn't let that E-Wiz lock on. He needed that Knight for the Graveyard defense, and you're making him do some really uncomfortable situations by having an E-Wiz in conjunction with Graveyard. So every single time, guys, when I'm defending the Minor, when I'm defending something in double Elixir, you can always just go for that rapid Graveyard against Minor Control. Just always, whatever you're defending with, just drop a Graveyard and then poison. If in this case, I'm just poisoning for damage. But if you had minions or if you had Archers, poison those every time, and then your Graveyard's gonna get a ton more damage. Relatively easy game. Good player though. I think he's got. Let's see how many cards when he had. I think he had like 100k. Yeah, he's pretty good. All right, so let's hop into our last and final game. I believe this was our 12th game. Yeah, it was. Let's hop into this. So this is against a giant Three Musketeers deck. Three Musketeers is actually a kind of difficult deck for you guys to play against. It takes a little bit of time to learn how to counter the Three Musketeers as they cross the bridge, what to do against the pump, and it's kind of situational most of the time. So right now I'm just taking the game slow. I know it's my 12th game. and I just don't want to mess it up. I really want to get a legendary out of this 12-win chest. I didn't want to get 11 because 11's legendary cost is just so low. So I was just waiting for what he was going to do. If you guys should never feel bad about waiting until your opponent's first move with Graveyard, because the faster you can get to double elixir without dropping anything or taking any damage, the better for you, because Graveyard plus Poison is a 9 elixir combo, and especially with like a tank like a Knight, that's 12 elixir. It's really hard to afford in single elixir and justify. Like if you mess up and you don't do enough damage, they're just going to get brutalized. Or you're going to get brutalized in their counter maneuver. So back to the game. He pumped in the back, as with the Golem decks, and whenever they're using pump in the back, you go for that miner, you go for that tank, you drop your Knight, you drop your E-Wiz, you drop what you have to, you go for that Graveyard, and then you can pretty much poison with whatever they defend to defend their pump. And you're always going to get value. Always going to get value. He drops an Ice Spirit right there. I think I try to take the Ice Spirit out so he doesn't deny another wave of my Fire Spirits. Really nice for me right there. And let's see what he does to counter that. So he drops a Knight. That Knight doesn't really do much, and he has to respond to my Fire Spirits again. I'm constantly putting up aggression, so he's not able to drop those 3 Musketeers. In this case, it's doing really well for me. I'm gonna poison that pump because I just want to get more damage on the right side. I'm just doing really well right now. I kind of figured that his win condition's 3 Musketeers because I see Knight, I see all these cheap cycle cards, I see a Musketeer. It's like 4 Musketeer Giant. This is an old Darth Jar Jar deck, I believe. Right now, guys, I'm stacking up on the right side because I'm very confident in my ability to defend the left. And I'm just going to poison the Musketeers and log it to kill it as fast as possible. Hopefully I'll get my Electro Wizard to lock on that right tower and clean it up. Archers, Electro Wizard, Skeletons. My deck is really cheap and just allows me to have such great defense, which is honestly, it's such a great deck for GCs for that case. Like if you guys are low in elixir, you're able to make magic happen with barely anything at all. Skeletons plus Ice Spirit, or Ice Spirit plus Electro Wizard just does wonders. It's honestly amazing. If you drop Skeletons and Electro Wizard on top of Musketeers, the Musketeers will just die, honestly, guys. This deck is really key. And then you can drop Knight plus Log on the other side if they drop like Musketeer plus Ice Spirit. It's just their split pushes just really aren't effective against so many low cost units that I have. I can always afford to split up my units because they're so low cost and always elixir efficient trades for me. Alright guys, so those are my games. Let's go open up that 12-win chest. I'll show you my battle log in case you guys wanted to see that 12-win. Pretty nice 12-win. Pretty easy games, honestly. I think there are some Hog Rider games in there as well. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that guy's using blue now. Yeah, so pretty easy games. I think my only loss was probably to... Was that the disconnect? I think it was. I had a few disconnects earlier on today. They were kind of rough. But let's go. Hopefully we can... this is the 12-win. I saved it for you guys. Hopefully we can actually pull out something that's not a Sparky. If you guys didn't know, I've gotten 1 million Sparkies. Literally 10 in the past, like, 7 days. It's just not something I'm proud of, but, like, it's... I don't know. I don't know why I'm smiling, guys. I'm crazy. I don't know why anyone would be happy about that. So let's jump right into it, guys. 22,000 gold. No, it's not that much. It doesn't really matter to me. I have too much already. Inferno Towers. Let's get to the important stuff. Archers. Most of these cards don't matter. I need to get a whole bunch of rares and commons stacked up pretty fast, and it's not happening. I need all my rares. There's just so many small stacks. It looks like I'm going to get, yeah, I'm probably going to get commons right here and then 11 epics. Hopefully it's something I can max out. Alright, Phone Spell, I could use that. I got it maxed out completely. I'll take it. So unfortunately, guys, we didn't get another Sparky for you guys. I mean, if I got a Legendary, it would always be a Sparky, but, yeah. I hope you guys definitely try out this deck. It's one of the best decks in the meta. CMC uses it, Surgical uses it. All the people that have been playing a lot of tournament games right now have been using this deck. It's definitely one of the best decks in the meta, and I'm proud to say that I actually created it. And This is one of the best decks I've made recently. And if you guys like this, drop me a like. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you guys don't know, I stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 East or at 6 o'clock Eastern. I hope to see you guys there if you guys can make it. And if you guys want to, what do you guys want to see for the next video? Let me know in the description or in the comments below if you guys want to see Hog Rider, Zap Bait, Golem. I'm not using Lava Hound Balloon, but just about anything else. I'm open to suggestions. Any of these decks that I'm going to be showing you guys in these videos are going to be good decks. Like, I'm not going to show you guys decks that are not viable. That's why I'm showing you a 12 win at the end of every single video to make sure you guys know that these decks are good. I'm not joking around. I'm not playing any games. I'm trying to give you guys the highest quality gameplay as possible. If you guys have any questions in the deck that I haven't answered, shout or hit me up on Twitter or comment in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer. My Twitter and everything will be in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you guys next time. Peace.